Welcome to Horse Matchmakers, a podcast made to help first-time horse buyers navigate the horse buying process calls. We cover everything from what you need in a horse to understanding what ads are really saying, everyday scams to perfect prospects, so you can match with the right horse for you. You may be wondering why this podcast is even necessary. It's because it's something we'll cover in every single episode. People lie. It makes sense because the horse market is a multi-million-dollar industry, which means liars, scammers, they all rush to it for a quick buck. In today's episode, we're going to cover 3 different ads and talk about them to sort of discover the red and green flags for each. We're also going to have a short bio for the person looking to buy a horse. While we're doing this, I want you to think about who the rider is and decide whether or not you think that this is the horse for them. Let's start with the first ad. Our buyer is a intermediate rider, 5 foot 5 inches, has been riding for 3 years, and has been leasing a horse up to this point. Now they feel ready for their own. They will be full care boarding, want a horse that isn't more woe than go, but also isn't absolutely insane. They hate riding tall horses. They need a horse for trail riding and occasional playday events. The budget is $6,000. So when I search for this horse, I put in these immediate parameters. Intermediate or beginner horse, trail riding or playday horse, max $6,000, minimum $2,000 for the budget, 15 hands as a minimum and 16 as a max, quarter horse because it's a great beginner horse and typically fall within the height range that our buyer wants, and min 10 years old, max 17. The ad we found was this. Connor, 15.1 hands, 13 years old. Their description reads, "This is Connor, a real fancy, super gentle, family and beginner friendly, gorgeous, well-built gelding that is one smooth operator. He is extra easy to get along with and does whatever is asked for. He doesn't take advantage of novice or timid riders. Sorry for my pronunciation. He trail rides, has been in the arena, he works cattle nicely, and has been to sortings and pennies. He is honest, pure, and civilized. This gelding rides on a loose rein, relaxed. He has a nice canter, a comfy jog, and an all-around nice way of traveling. He is smart, likes people, enjoys going riding, and has a sweet personality." First thing I notice is the flowery language, so I check for signs of horse traders. People who purchase a horse from auction, ride once or twice, sometimes they don't ride at all, then sell for a couple grand for a quick buck. For the purposes of this exercise, no other signs of horse traders, no dozens of horses, no big backstories, etc. This is a great horse. Trail and cattle means they're less spooky than normal. Doesn't take advantage of timid riders. Our buyer is an intermediate rider, but that's always something to take a note of. Beginner safe is always a good trait, even for a more experienced rider. Likes people, that is kind of subjective, so whenever I read that on an ad, I kind of write it off, because they could just like their bull. Does whatever is asked of him is a good sign towards not being more woe than go, along with some of the other points in the ads. If you get to messaging this owner, ask for photos of the horse doing its job or videos. It's always a good idea to get documentation of them doing their job so that you have a good sign that the seller was not lying. Other than that, this horse has been approved to look more into. Moving on to our next ad, our buyer is a beginner, been riding a little over a year, 5 foot, and planning to do full care boarding. She prefers to have to kick up a little bit more because going super fast makes her a little nervous. Her budget is $5,000. And when I search for her ad, I immediately use these bidders. A kid horse, 14 years old minimum, 17 years old max, $2,000 min, $5,000 max. 2,000-year-old horse would be very old. 14.3 hand minimum, 15.3 hand max, a quarter horse or a POA. The ad we found was bronze, 12 years old, 14.3 hands, and a quarter horse. His ad reads as, "If you're looking for a Cadillac ride that doesn't take 2 weeks to learn the user manual, meet Bronze. He is a 10-year-old, super stout built, 14.3 hand quarter horse gelding. If you can hold the reins, you can get along with this gelding and know that you're on a safe mount. He's been used for daily ranch work in the rocks. Bronze is still your man. This is an extremely user-friendly gelding that's very comfortable to ride. Whether you are a beginner or have just been out of the saddle a while, this gelding will take care of you. He's one-handed broke and works off leg pressure well. His trot and lope are very comfortable and easy to sit, and he's side-passed both directions with ease as well. If you're wanting to just go down the trail, you can let him have refoot or rein and not have to worry about him taking advantage of it. He's great at keeping an even tempo in all gaits and has a more woe than go attitude." The language is very horse trader, especially since the original ad is 5 paragraphs long. When checking, remember the size. Dozens of horses listed, all familiar stories, familiar horses, tragedies listed everywhere with no effect on the actual horse, and finally, lies within the ad. This is for sure a horse trader, so I would move on. But for the sake of the exercise, otherwise this ad is great for the signs of a good beginner horse. One hand broke, great for a beginner. Lots of rein and won't take an advantage, seems like a lie, but great for a beginner. Trot and lope are comfortable. If it isn't, they would not mention the trot or lope, so that's a good sign. Another sign of horse traders is the ad not matching up to the entered information. So the entered info was 12-year-olds, but the ad states 10. Finally, the age range, the entered one, isn't a big deal to pass on, as long as the personality of the horse matches like an older soul. And 2 years isn't that big of a deal anyways. The height is perfect for our more timid beginner, so all in all, if this wasn't a horse trader, it would be a good horse. Our next ad is for a beginner rider, has been riding for a year. She's doing full care boarding, 6 foot. She prefers not to have to worry about a horse being more woe than go. Her budget is $6,000. Her search parameters will be quarter horse or appendix, 11 to 13 or 14 to 17 years old, play day, obstacle, or police horse, 16 hands or more, $2,000 to $6,000 budget. You may be wondering why $2,000 is the minimum. Isn't a cheap horse a good idea? Absolutely not. Cheap horses cost more money in the long run. With vet bills and just so many more expenses, cheap horses just have more expensive than a normal horse because they're cheap. They have more issues because you're not paying for more quality. So when I'm searching, I cut out the cheapest of the cheap, $2,000 in there. We found this ad under those search perimeters. It's for Moxie, a 16-hand, 13-year-old mare. Big, beautiful, thick mare. 16 hands, big butt, shiny copper color. Easy to ride, load, trim, and bath. 13 years old. Don't miss out on this $1 million beauty. She loads, trims, vets, baves. And she's UTD, which means up to date on things like wormer, feet, teeth. So she's UTD on all. Okay, so obviously this ad doesn't have much information, but I tend to find that a good. It lets you ask more questions without seeming rude or wasting the owner's time. And if a horse trader is making an ad on these more expensive sites, they're spending the time to make it really seem like a good deal. This person doesn't, so it tends to be a good sign. Based on the ad, she is a 16-hand, 13-year-old horse, which is perfect for our range. Y'all can't see the photos, but it has kids riding her double at a play day. When messaging the owner, fill in the blanks that they left out of the ad. Video of a walk, trot, lope, or them running at a play day or an event. What events do they do? How do they do? Prior injuries, any other blanks that they may have left. You also want to try and find out why they're selling. A good play day horse is worth $1 million, as stated in the ad. Otherwise, this has a good jumping off point. Make sure to ask questions whenever you're faced with a horse like this, but not to be overly aggressive. And if you're just looking at horses just to look, don't waste the seller's time. The owner does not have to sell you the horse, so they can always cut you off if you get too aggressive about asking questions. That is all for today's episode. Tune in next week for the common tricks in a horse ad.